like, what if I wasn't supposed to receive God until this point? Like, what if God already knew, like, she's not going to be receptive until now? Hey YouTube, it's me, Arris. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I kind of want to talk about something kind of personal, something that has changed me mentally and emotionally and spiritually, and it's Christianity. I kind of want to talk about Christianity, faith, me becoming Christian, the reasoning behind it, my testimony, my upbringing that led me up to it. Just y'all about to get in my business, basically. Y'all about to be all up in my business, and yeah, so we're gonna get into that. So first I want to talk about the upbringing, my spiritual upbringing, my background, how I lived in my household and everything. So yeah, so growing up in my household, seeking God and going to church and reading your Bible was not mandatory in my household. Granted, I knew of God. I did not know him personally. I did not have a personal relationship or a personal connection with God. When I was younger, probably up until like the age of 7, my grandmother on my mother's side, she used to take me to church with her all the time. And for whatever reason, it just stopped. So from about 7 up until about 18, I didn't really solidify a relationship or a connection with God. The only time I've really been in church was because of a funeral of some sort. And it's sad, but it's true. That was really the only time I've actually been in the house of God, if that makes sense. So the first time, first of all, let me just backtrack. God tried to talk to me 3 different times, y'all. Yes, 3 different times. And I didn't listen until this last time, and I don't know what took me so long. I don't know who told me I was this self-righteous person or I didn't need God's help. Like, who raised you? Anyway, so the first time God tried to talk to me, I was 18 years old. I had just graduated high school, and I was running fast-paced towards going to college. I went to the Art Institute for about a year, roughly. But prior to me, like, actually registering for classes and everything, I was just like super pumped up that I was even going to school, like, because my GPA was some trash, if I'm being honest. And I was like, oh my God, the school accepted me, like, wow. So anyway, going into the first semester of college, God was just like, kept telling me, slow down, you're moving too fast, slow down. Mind you, I did not financially prepare at all for college, and I'm reaping the consequences today, but they're all working out now. I'm in a better place, and I will touch bases on that later as well. Yeah, God was just like, slow down, you're moving too fast, you need to reconsider, like, really think about this. And I was just like, no, like, I know what I'm doing, I'm here already, it's too late, let me just do it. So not even like 8 months later, I didn't even finish a full year at the school, and I ended up dropping out because financially I could not support it. I could not afford it. I was struggling. I was struggling in my classes. I was struggling financially. It was just a hot mess. So I ended up dropping out, and I didn't really have a job, like a steady income job. I was just like doing like little odd jobs, like painting shirts for people, or like painting pictures, doing art stuff. Speaking of art, I have a video on an art piece that I did, digital art piece that I did on my channel, if you guys want to go check that out. But anyway, I didn't really have a job until like 21, and I was working at a clothing store, and I was only working there for like 3 months, and I ended up quitting because I started to value my work and myself a little bit more, which led me to just end up leaving that job. And I will talk about valuing yourself and allowing yourself to receive more in another video. But end up leaving that job. So that entire summer, I was depressed. Your girl was stressed out. I was depressed. I was angry, bitter. I blamed everything and everybody for the reason why things weren't happening for me, or why I wasn't receiving any good things. And that kind of trickles down to my childhood a little bit. Like, I had some things mentally and emotionally that took place that I will kind of touch later on down the line, because it's still kind of touchy for me to talk about. But being depressed kind of affected the way that I interacted, the way I viewed myself, the way I viewed other people, the way I socialized with people, mentally and emotionally affect me. Like I was a battered hot mess, and God was just like, let me help you. Let me protect you, in a sense. And again, I denied his help because I looked at it as, oh, you know, I got this far without him, you know, I'll be fine. Like eventually things would turn up for me. But yet I was still feeding myself these negative things. I was still allowing negativity and the enemy to pour all of these negative things upon me and upon my mindset. And it just affected everything. So I was just like I was a wreck. Fast forward to me at the age of 25, which is now, in October of 2019, which was last year, I had opened myself up. I had willingly opened myself up spiritually to receive healing. I knew that there was not any type of medication that I can take. There was no counselor or no therapist that I can talk to. There's nothing that my friends or my family can say. There's nothing that I can read, no blogs, no text, nothing that can really help me heal except for a higher power. And I knew that this healing was beyond self. I knew that I had to give myself permission to admit you're weak in this area. There's something obviously hindering you. Give yourself permission to heal. Because for a long time growing up, first of all, I'm the oldest of all of my siblings, and I'm the only girl. So I was always told, not verbally, but the way people would interact with me or the way situations were handled, to always be the strong one, or to always lead by example, get over it, things happen, that's just life. I was just told to just take a lot of things that hurt me, and I carried that with me my entire life up until this point. And looking back on it now, all of the things that I went through mentally and emotionally and spiritually, like, what if I wasn't supposed to receive God until this point? Like, what if God already knew, like, she's not going to be receptive until now? Like, she's not going, I wouldn't say I hit rock bottom, but I literally ran out of excuses and defense mechanisms and options. This was literally my last hope. Like, I couldn't do anything else. This was it. So this time, prior to me even hearing God's voice, 2 months prior, back in August of last year, I had wrote in my journal, that I was seeking healing from the inside out. I needed some internal healing that will eventually exude outward. And I knew that a higher power would be necessary for this. And 2 months later, in August, God was just like, you know what? Allow me to lead and watch what I do for you. Just allow me to take over. Allow me to fight your battles for you. Watch what I do. And for the first time in a long time, I felt secure within anything. Like, I've never been so secure about anything until that day. I was in my room by myself, and I remember just like bawling, crying, like, I'm weak, I need help, I need protection. And I think a lot of us, we don't want to admit when we're weak, or we don't want to admit when we're not strong, or when we feel defeated. But at this point, I didn't care how I was viewed by other people. I needed help, and I was going to get that help by any means necessary, because God was just like, I didn't call you here for a reason. You weren't here just out of coincidence. Like, you being a 1 pound, 12 ounce baby fighting for your life in that hospital, that wasn't for just out of a coincidence. That wasn't for no reason. I put you here for a reason. And once I got that down pat mentally, like, I was like, that's it. Like, God, you got it. Like, you're right. Maybe I do need to take a step back. Maybe I don't know everything. Maybe I do need to drop my ego for a second and just listen. Allow someone else to lead my life, because I wasn't living a crazy life, but mentally and emotionally, it was affecting how I lived my life. I was very hindered, very guarded. I wouldn't allow myself to receive anything good. So it just got to the point where I was just like, I need help. And God was just like, I'm here, hello. I'm ready when you are. So fast forward to November the 2nd or the 3rd, whatever Sunday that was. I remember telling my best friend, I was like, I want to go get baptized and I want to get right with God. I want to do this right. And so she was like, okay. So like that following week, me, her, and her grandmother, we went to church. And I remember going to church. I was nervous. I was scared. I was a hot mess. I was a wreck. My perception of church and the way church was presented to me was very tarnished, and just, it was a mess. Like, I was scared of church, and I don't think people really say that out loud, but I was scared of church. I thought that if you weren't saved and you walked into a church, people were automatically going to know, they were automatically going to judge you. And just my views on Christianity and how I viewed church at one point was very tarnished, and it drove me away from even seeking a higher power. So I was scared for a long time. So walking into that church, everybody was like so welcoming and nice and warm. I didn't feel judged or anything. And yeah, I was happy when I was there. So the church, the service was great, and then leading to the end of the service, the pastor was like, if anybody would like to give their life to Christ or reclaim their faith, and I did not hesitate. I just was like, okay. God was just like, okay, if you don't do this now, it's never gonna happen. So I was like, bet. I'm walking up to the altar, me and my best friend, she's holding my hand, and we're walking up there, and I kneel down, and the lady started praying for me and everything, and when she started talking, I did not hear her voice at all. However long she was talking to me, it was just me and God talking at that moment. It was no longer her voice. It was just me and God just talking. He was just like, I got you. Like, you're covered. I'm here. Like, let me protect you. And, I was crying and everything. I wasn't like sobbing, but like, I was crying because I was like, this is the first time I felt safe. I felt secure. I don't have to worry. And since then, I have so much of a mental clarity. Like, I'm at peace mentally. I still have some things that I'm actively working on, and I handle them differently. I approach them differently. I react to them differently because of who I have on my side. Like, I have God on my side, so I really don't have to worry as much. Like, I felt for a long time I had to fight and battle these things internally because I felt that nobody understood. And God was just like, you shouldn't even be fighting these battles alone. You shouldn't even be fighting these battles, period. That's what I'm here for. And once I got that understood, everything from that point on has been, great. How do I feel since giving my life to Christ? I feel a lot more stable mentally and emotionally. Like, I'm really taking a moment to assess situations, or let alone just people in general, like the way I interact with people. I'm really analyzing how I approach, what I feed energy to, what I give power to. And it's great to know that my first instinct is to really be mindful of what I exude outward to other people, or what I allow to consume me, even down to like the music that I listen to, and social media, and what I read on the internet, and what I feed myself physically and mentally and emotionally. I will be honest, I have not been reading my Bible. I have it on my phone, but I think my goal this year is to definitely get closer with God and really just seek Him. Like, really get into a relationship with Him, get to know Him, get into a courtship, if you will, with God, because I had to understand very early on into this journey that, first of all, I'm brand new to this. Secondly, my relationship with God is mine alone. It's not going to be the same as the next person, or your mom or your friend or your brother or whatever. Like, everybody has their own, you know, separate relationship with God, and I'm enjoying my relationship with God, getting to know him, and really just, how can I put it, really just consuming myself of his grace and of his mercy and the things that he has done for me without even acknowledging it. Oh, I kind of do want to talk about something. Sorry, little malfunction. I started a prayer jar sometime last week. It's not very full. The goal is to fill this up by the end of the year, or at least get it halfway by the end of the year, and kind of do like a little reflection later on down the line. So yeah, that's another thing that's kind of helping me solidify my faith. So yeah, guys, that's like kind of my I guess you can say testimony of my introduction into Christ. I asked that in the comments, like, leave me some words of encouragement. My encouragement to anybody who feels that they've heard from God, or who, you know, is seeking him, or to, you know, be closer to him. Don't ignore that feeling. Don't ignore that urge, because, how can I put it? I've made an eternal investment. Like, this is going to follow me even after I'm long gone. Like, this is the best investment I think I've ever made, ever, in anything that I've ever done. So my encouragement to anybody who, you know, you're young, or even if you're trying to reclaim your faith, like, if God is calling you, answer. Like, don't run from it. Don't stray away from it. A lot of people that you're close to may not even understand. It can be your own family in your household. They may not fully, how can I put it? They may not fully understand you, but listen, like, just do it. You'll be thankful that you did, and I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I took the necessary steps to have God on my team. And I think that for a long time was something that I was looking for, because I was always trying to figure out, what is it that's going to break me? What is it going to take for me to really shift my life? And it was God just telling me, like, let me do this. Let me get this under control for you. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it with this video. If you guys want to talk more with me about it, like, let me know you guys' insight. Let's have a conversation. I do kind of want to make this a series on my channel where I'm talking about faith, and I do want to have some people on my channel eventually. Like, I really just want to kind of get the conversation and the floor open to people who wants to talk about their testimony and how God has really helped them. Oh yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry if this video is very long and, you know, chatty. Somebody probably needs to hear this. This is the message. This is for somebody somewhere today. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will definitely get back to you in my next video. Have a good day. Bye.